In 1848, a man named James Marshall found a glint of gold in the waters of Coloma, California. Within months, a flood of 300,000 people descended on the American West. Not because they all struck it rich, but because everyone believed they would. History called it the gold rush. What we are living through right now is something far bigger. The new gold isn't buried underground. It doesn't glitter. You can't hold it in your hand. But it is reshaping every industry on Earth, rewriting the rules of power, and minting a new class of billionaires faster than any resource in human history. The new gold is artificial intelligence. And in this gold rush, there are two names that tower above all others. Two companies locked in a battle so consequential, so far-reaching, that its outcome won't just determine who makes the most money. It will determine who controls the future of intelligence itself. On one side, Nvidia, the hardware empire. The company that quietly, almost invisibly, became the backbone of the AI revolution. The company whose chips power everything. On the other, OpenAI, the software visionary. The company that put AI in the hands of 200 million people overnight and made the world realize that the future had already arrived. This is the story of the greatest technological rivalry of our time. Welcome to Billionaire's Playbook. To understand Nvidia, you have to go back to 1993. Three engineers in a Denny's diner in California sketch out a business plan. Their goal? Make graphics cards for video games. That's it. Nothing more revolutionary than making Doom look better on your PC. Jensen Huang, one of those three engineers, would go on to become one of the most visionary CEOs in history. But in 1993, nobody, not even Jensen, could have imagined what they were actually building. For nearly 3 decades, Nvidia was the king of gaming. Their GPUs, graphics processing units, powered the virtual worlds inside PlayStation consoles, gaming PCs, and Hollywood visual effects studios. They were brilliant at one specific thing, processing thousands of calculations simultaneously, in parallel, at breathtaking speed. And then, somewhere around 2012, the AI researchers came knocking. It turns out that training a neural network, the mathematical engine behind artificial intelligence, requires exactly the kind of parallel processing that GPUs were built to do. A CPU, the traditional brain of a computer, handles tasks one at a time. A GPU handles thousands at once. For AI, that difference isn't marginal. It's the difference between a candle and a floodlight. The researchers who trained the landmark AlexNet image recognition model on Nvidia GPUs didn't just win a competition, they sparked a revolution. Nvidia's hardware became the indispensable foundation of deep learning. Jensen Huang saw what was coming before almost anyone else. He bet the company on it. Nvidia invested billions into CUDA, a software platform that made it dramatically easier for AI researchers to harness GPU power. They built entire data center divisions. They created the H100 chip, a single processor that costs $30,000 and has a waiting list measured in months. They built DGX superpods, room-sized AI supercomputers that governments and tech giants are lining up to buy. Today, Nvidia doesn't just supply the picks and shovels of the AI gold rush. They are the mine. In 2023, Nvidia's revenue from its data center division alone surpassed $47 billion. Its stock price made Jensen Huang one of the wealthiest people on Earth. At its peak, Nvidia briefly became the most valuable company on the planet, eclipsing Apple, eclipsing Microsoft, eclipsing everything. Not bad for a company that started by making video game graphics. While Nvidia was building the engine, another group was figuring out what to do with it. OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a non-profit research lab with a radical mission: build artificial general intelligence, AI that can do anything a human mind can do, and ensure it benefits all of humanity, not just the few. Its founders included Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and some of the sharpest minds in computer science. The idealism was real. So was the ambition. For years, OpenAI worked in relative obscurity. Researchers published papers, models got smarter, GPT-2, GPT-3, each generation more capable than the last. The tech world took notice, but the world, it kept scrolling. Then came November 30th, 2022. OpenAI launched ChatGPT, a conversational AI interface built on their GPT-4 model. and within 5 days, it had 1 million users. Within 2 months, 100 million. It became the fastest-growing consumer application in history. Overnight, artificial intelligence stopped being a science fiction concept. It became something your grandmother could use. People used it to write emails, debug code, compose music, draft legal briefs, and pass medical licensing exams. Teachers panicked. Lawyers marveled. CEOs convened emergency board meetings. Governments scrambled to write regulations for something they didn't fully understand. OpenAI had done what no AI company had done before. It made the technology tangible, visceral, real. And behind every one of those ChatGPT conversations, every image generated, every line of code completed, were Nvidia's chips, humming in server farms around the world. The hardware king and the software visionary. 2 companies, 1 revolution. Here's where it gets interesting. Nvidia and OpenAI are not fighting over the same exact territory. At least not yet. Their strategies are different. Their weapons are different. But they are absolutely competing for dominance of the same future. Nvidia's genius has always been to sell the infrastructure. In every gold rush, the safest bet isn't on the miners. It's on the company selling the shovels. Nvidia doesn't care whether Google or Microsoft or a startup you've never heard of wins the AI race. They all need Nvidia's chips to compete. It's a brilliant position, almost unassailable. But Nvidia isn't content to just be a hardware vendor. Under Jensen Huang's leadership, it's pushing into full AI platforms, software, networking, and end-to-end enterprise AI solutions. They want to own the entire stack, not just the chips, but the ecosystem those chips run inside. OpenAI, meanwhile, has gone from non-profit idealist to commercial powerhouse with stunning speed. Backed by a $13 billion investment from Microsoft, it's now embedded in Office 365, Azure, GitHub, and enterprise software used by hundreds of millions of people daily. Sam Altman is building something that looks less like a research lab every day, and more like the next operating system of human civilization. OpenAI is also building its own hardware ambitions. Altman has been in conversations about creating custom AI chips, a direct challenge to Nvidia's dominance. If OpenAI can reduce its dependence on expensive GPU clusters, it changes the economics of AI entirely. In the gold rush metaphor, Nvidia is selling the shovels. OpenAI is trying to map the entire territory, and eventually, maybe build its own shovels too. The tension is real. The stakes are enormous. Both companies know that the next phase of this war will be fought in the enterprise, in governments, and across the developing world. Nvidia is making moves on every continent. Sovereign AI, the idea that nations should have their own AI infrastructure, their own data centers, their own computing capability, is becoming geopolitical reality. Nvidia is the vendor of choice for governments from Japan to the UAE to India, all racing to build national AI capacity. OpenAI is expanding its API platform, signing partnership deals with companies across every industry, from healthcare giants using GPT-4 to analyze medical imaging, to law firms deploying AI for contract review, to educational platforms rebuilding how students learn. The battlefield is everywhere, and the prize isn't measured in dollars alone. It's measured in influence. Whoever shapes how AI is deployed across industries, governments, and schools will have a hand in shaping how humanity makes decisions for generations to come. That's not a product strategy, that's a civilizational bet. But neither empire is without cracks. Nvidia faces the eternal risk of disruption from below. Google has its own AI chip, the TPU. Amazon has Trainium and Inferentia. Meta is building custom silicon. AMD is closing the gap. And if OpenAI or another major customer successfully develops competitive in-house chips, Nvidia's stranglehold on the market could loosen. OpenAI faces threats from all sides. Anthropic, founded by former OpenAI executives, is building Claude, a direct rival with strong enterprise adoption and a safety-first philosophy that's winning over regulated industries. Google's Gemini is integrating directly into 2 billion Android devices. Meta is releasing powerful open-source models for free, undercutting OpenAI's commercial pricing and challenging its closed model approach. And looming over everything, regulation. The EU's AI Act is now law. The United States is wrestling with how to govern AI without stifling the innovation it desperately needs. Governments worldwide are waking up to the power and the peril of what these companies are building. Then there's the question of cost. Training frontier AI models costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Running them at scale costs billions. The economics of generative AI are still unproven at scale, and the race to dominate could bankrupt players who can't sustain the burn. The gold rush is real, but not everyone who enters it will make it out. So who wins? The honest answer is, we don't know yet, and that's what makes this moment so extraordinary. What we do know is this: Nvidia has built a fortress. Its technology is so embedded in the infrastructure of AI that dethroning it would take years and hundreds of billions of dollars. Jensen Huang didn't just ride the AI wave. He saw it coming when everyone else was still arguing about whether AI was real. OpenAI has captured the imagination of the world. Sam Altman is playing a game that goes beyond software. He's building the interface between human intelligence and machine intelligence, and whoever controls that interface controls something profound. This battle is not really about market share. It's not about quarterly earnings or stock prices or venture capital valuations. It's about who gets to answer the most important question in human history. What does intelligence become when it is no longer limited to human minds? Nvidia wants to power that answer. OpenAI wants to define it. And the rest of us? We're living inside the answer, in real time, whether we realize it or not. The gold rush is happening. The titans are clashing. And the world will never look the same again. This is Billionaire's Playbook, where we tell the stories behind the greatest business battles shaping our world. If this story got your mind moving, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week, we pull back the curtain on the decisions, the rivalries, and the bold bets made by the people who are rewriting the rules of business, technology, and power.